Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Luna over here. It's been so long since my last English YouTube video. In this video, I want to do a update on how I'm doing going in for 8th year in real estate business, and also being a mom of 3 to be. So I have 2 kids. One, my boy is gonna turn 2, and my baby girl, she is going to turn 4. And I'm currently pregnant. I'm 4-month pregnant, so I'm about to have another baby. It's my 8th year in the business. If you guys never watched my video before, welcome. It's my 8th year in my business, and I built my business from the ground up. I moved to Philly. I don't have any family friends living here. So I started my business by doing mostly cold call. So I'm still a solo agent. I have some buyer agents, but I'm still most of my productions are pretty much myself. Last year I did close to $12 million. It's a lot of work, but considering my schedule, I take care of my kids usually in the morning. I'm only working pretty much 4 to 5 hours a day, and I don't really work on the weekend. So I think $12 million total real estate production is actually pretty good for someone who's like me. And a lot of you might ask, how did you get there? I'm a mom too. I don't have a lot of time. Like, how do I do business the way you did? So I'm gonna break it down and explain to you guys how I did, like using 8 years to build to the system and to get to where I am currently. And in this video, I will be going through all my 1099. So I'll break down all my deals, where they're coming from. I did total 35 transactions. So I'll go through each transaction and let you guys know what my lead sources are. And at the end of the video, I'm also going to give you guys 5 tips that I think it works really well for me. Getting to the first thing is my 1099. So right now I'm holding these are all my sales production. In January I have 1 closing, and this closing actually was a buyer deal. It came through my Chinese YouTube channel. I don't really have time to running around with my buyers, so I gave this to one of my buyer agent. So he closed it, and the closing was in January. And then February I had 1 closing, and that was a family friend, so like sphere of influence from my friend's family. And then in March I had 2 transactions, and these 2 transactions are actually from marketing that I did. I do pay Zillow leads, so that's from one of the local Zillow lead that I got. There are sellers in my farm. And March 3rd I have another closing. Actually, March I have 4 closings, and April I have 2 closings. So the last closing that I had in March is actually quite interesting. I was talking to these old couple 5 years ago. They were a cold call lead, and I have been following up with them all through 5 years. COVID stopped them from moving. So they were thinking about moving to like a retirement home, but then the COVID came, and then they stayed. They didn't really have to move anymore, and I stayed in touch. Then they found a new build, so they really need to sell the house. And that one was such a long shot, but I was able to get that closed. I think we had the listing signed the year before, and it took me 3 to 4 months to close that deal. And then the first deal in April on Lombard Street, that one is interesting too, because that is a buyer lead that I closed with one of our agents in the office. So he took the buyer to see the house. And the way how I came about this buyer is they watch my English and Chinese YouTube video. So they're a subscriber, but they never really contacted me. When they went to the open house, the agent asked them, do you have an agent? And they said, I do have an agent. So they put my name and my phone number down. So after the open house, the agent had called me and they say, hey, you've got this buyer came through the open house, and they put your phone number and your name down. And I'm like, I have no idea who that is. And this house is $1 million. So I'm like, if I have $1 million buyer, I would know who they are. So I called a buyer and they said, oh, we didn't want to waste your time. We're at the very beginning stage of looking. We were going to reach out. So I got them to my office to sign the buyer agency contract. And then I had them talk to our in-house lender, set them up for the tours that they want to see for other houses with one of the agents in the office. So we were able to close that in like several months. So that's that one. And then moving on, it was a family friend, and then marketing, and then also a marketing, and then a cold call follow-up, another cold call follow-up. And in the middle of the summer, I had 2 back-to-back. That was actually a referral from a estate attorney. So I do work with several attorneys. So along your career, sometimes, let's say if I'm getting a estate property and then I'm working with estate attorney through the transaction. And if you do a good job, your reputation is really good, sometimes you can build a relationship with attorneys, estate attorney, divorce attorney. Sometimes it could be hard, but I've got a couple attorneys that I'm working with. So they gave me referrals as well. So like the clients that are looking to sell, that's one of them. And then I got another one. She actually became my really good friend. She found me on my Chinese YouTube channel. And it was funny on that one too, because she did not use me to buy the house, but she used me to sell the house because she thought that I was going to be very pushy. So when she buy the house, she didn't want an agent that's really pushy to kind of make her do the decision to buy the house. So she didn't use me. And then when she's trying to sell the house, her previous agent was not so pushy, didn't resell the house, and she was just waiting, and she wanted someone that's really aggressive. And that's when she called me. So I was able to get that house, didn't able to sell it, but I was able to kind of get it rented out. And then this year, they have another investment home. That was actually the closing that I had. Another investment home that I have. So I was able to sell that one. And we later became really good friends. So that was that one. And then it was a cold call. And then it was a buyer from my Chinese YouTube channel that I worked with another agent. And then this one is a cold call. And this is a cold call follow-up. And then coming down, East Venango, that one is a Zillow lead. And then down in court is a transaction from Jersey. I have a Jersey license, so I worked with another buyer agent in my office on that deal. So the tip that I use is I don't really have time to work with buyers because buyers they need more time, and the schedule on a buyer wanting to see a house is very short notice. It's really hard if you are a mom or if you have something else that you need more notice. It's difficult to wrap your schedule around the buyer. So I tend to just give all my buyers to some other agent and then just do a split with them. And then in July, this property is actually for sale by owner. That took me a long time. He has another home 2 years ago. I wasn't able to sell it. And then this time around, he became a for sale by owner. When I called the for sale by owner, his name popped out. And I'm like, oh, that was that person that I spoke with 2 years ago. So that was the for sale by owner that then turned into a listing. And then the other one is a lead from Instagram. And they were a Instagram seller wanting to sell, but I helped them purchase the condo in the city. So that was that one. And then in October, Eastwood. Oh, that's also a referral from the attorney. And then it was couple follow-up, cold call. So you can see the pattern here, right? Like, do I still actively do cold call now? No, I don't, because my schedule is really tight. And I want to go through like my daily schedule now that I'm a mom and how I incorporate this with my real estate business. Is usually I will get up at 7, 8 o'clock. I put down everything I need to do for work in my phone for the calendar. And then I get the kids ready. We go to LA Fitness because there's a daycare, so my kids can stay in the daycare, and I'll work out for like an hour or an hour and a half. and the daycare closes at 12 o'clock. So I have about like an hour and 2 hours that I can respond to emails if I need to return a call or negotiate on the phone with any buyers or sellers. That's where I do my urgent things, like in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I will prospect. I'll follow up with all the calls that I have. I'll create some content ideas that I need for my business. I will negotiate, do the contract, send out for signing, and all that. I'll try to come into the office usually around 1 o'clock till 4 or 5 o'clock because my kids has activities sometimes after 4. So I don't really spend like a lot of time now with the business, but I still think about it all the time. If my client texts me or they call me, I always get back to them. Now, at the last part of the video, I want to get over and then kind of give you guys some tips that I use and it works out really well for me. Tip number 1 is to choose a really good real estate company. Like a company that can offer you great guidance, very approachable, not so much just things that you can learn on the paper, more so like coaching that you can actually get on like one-on-one when you have deals going on. Somebody's actually there to help you, and a good company that give you good split, because I think a split does matter. Tip number 2 is to make sure you lay down the ground for your business. If you start building your business solely based on buyer, essentially you might lose your leads because like they're just buyers, right? Like how many years does it take for one person to buy? Unless they're investor. If they're not investor, they're first time home buyer, it's going to take them at least 7 to 10 years for them to buy again or for them to sell. So that stretch is way too long. I tend to focus more on the seller, and then I tend to focus more on the investor because they're a repeated client. They'll keep buying it with you again and again. If they're a seller, they give you a referral. Typically, they're a seller too. Number 3 is always hustle, like always be available. I know at the very beginning, it's kind of hard, like especially at the beginning, I think you should always be available. Like even for me right now, when I get a phone call, I always try to get back to the person. I text them. If they leave me a voicemail, like I'll try to get back to them as soon as I can, or I'll text them and let them know when I'll get back to them. And number 4 is a support system. You will need a good support system, whether if it's coming from your office or if it's coming from your family. I think the most beneficial setup for real estate is a husband and wife team. Like, so if your husband, let's say, doesn't really have a job or his work is flexible, you both can maybe work with a buyer that he can go show the home, get his license. You know, you have your license and you do the paperwork or prospecting. I think that's the most profitable layout for real estate. And number 5, the last tip that I have is save your money. Like, don't spend your money on unnecessary things. I didn't spend my money on getting a expensive assistant or somebody that I put under my payroll, give a W-2 that cost me like $60,000, $70,000 a year, where I can just do mostly the very easy admin work I do myself, or I have a VA because VA is virtual assistants like so much cheaper. Yeah, so this is the update that I have for you guys. I know this video is long overdue. I just really haven't had the time to kind of get on here and or do like a day in the life type of video. I hope you guys enjoy my sit down and talk video. If you have any question or any video suggestion, please leave a comment down below. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.